Okay, good morning. I know we're all here for an update, and we're going to give that right now. But just prior to the update, on behalf of the Central Falls Police Department, we just like to express our condolences to the loved ones, the family of the victim. So the Central Falls Police Department, as always, we remain committed to safeguarding the city throughout the community. And through a collaborative effort, through a number of agencies, we was able to take a dangerous person off the street. At this time, we ask for patience, although, and we'll go into detail in a moment, although we have this individual in custody, or he's in custody rather, the court process, as we all know, does take time. So again, we ask for patience. I'd also like to thank the Plainville Police Department, the Central Falls Fire Department, the swift action by the Central Falls Patrol Bureau, and the great work by our detective bureau who we have behind us here. Thank you. And as I mentioned just a bit earlier, we're going to go into detail, but we're going to have the Honorable Mayor Rivera say a few words.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you all for being here this morning. I wish I could say good morning, but this has been a tragic 72 hours in our community, but it's an important morning. We're sharing huge progress made in this investigation. I want to reiterate my condolences to the victim's family and loved ones. This is an unthinkable tragedy and a nightmare no parent should ever have to live through. I can imagine that the developments and news coverage bring up so many emotions for this family. The one thing I wanted to tell the mom was that her son was going to be okay. And it was the one thing that I could not tell them. But I'm glad that I was able to let her know that we have someone in custody. And I hope that this brings at least a little bit of peace of mind to the family. Colonel Roberson, Captain Beans, Sergeant Ospina, the entire detective bureau, our Central Falls Police Department, I remain grateful for the important work that you do. I know the call you responded to on Saturday night is not one you ever want to receive. No community does, but you organized and responded quickly, professionally, and bravely. This is challenging work, and your compassion during such a difficult time has not gone unnoticed. I also want to express my gratitude to the Central Falls Fire Department for acting so quickly when the call came in, and supporting the police department and the family. And thank you to the Attorney General's office for the quick response in this investigation. Our police department worked efficiently to get necessary information out that led to the arrest of the shooting suspect in less than 24 hours. I can only hope that this important development brings some small level of peace to the victims' loved ones as we begin this important journey to justice. I know many of our residents are feeling anxious, concerned, and upset. It's understandable that any act of violence here takes a huge emotional toll on our tight-knit community, particularly when we have seen such progress made in recent years to keep our streets safe. I'm fully committed to supporting the critical work of our Central Falls Police Department and community to keep gun violence out of the city of Central Falls. I never want to see another parent have to tragically say goodbye to their child. This senseless gun violence needs to stop, and we need to keep guns off of our streets. I will continue doing all I can to make this work happen. Again, a huge thank you to the Central Falls Police Department. I know how dedicated they are to the community of Central Falls and keeping us safe. I also want to say thank you to the fire chief who's with us here today. I now want to pass it over to Captain Beans. Thank you.
As you know, on Saturday, the 23rd, the Central Falls Police Department responded to the area of Dexter Street and Sumner Avenue for the report of a shooting. When officers arrived on the scene, they found the victim suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. That victim is identified as Emmanuel Torres Plaza, age 27. Throughout the investigation, we were able to gain a suspect vehicle, which was broadcasted to departments throughout New England. Later on in the night, it was learned from the Plainville Police Department that they had a report of a car fire, and a witness saw a suspect fleeing from that area of the car fire. That suspect was later stopped and detained and identified as the person who set the vehicle on fire in Plainville. That person is identified as Luis Lopez, aged 39. Mr. Lopez, at the time of his arrest in Plainville, was also in possession of 2 firearms. Detectives continued to investigate, and it was learned that Lopez and Plaza do have a relationship and are known to each other. Detectives were able to gain enough information to ascertain an arrest warrant for Luis Lopez for the homicide of Emmanuel Torres Plaza. Mr. Lopez is still in custody in Massachusetts and is awaiting the extradition process. When he is brought back here to Rhode Island, he will be arraigned on the charge of murder. Any questions?
Any other charges?
There will be some other charges, mostly gun-related, I would imagine, at this point.
You said they had a relationship. What kind of relationship?
They were known to each other. Let's just I can't get into the specifics.
Not personally related.
Not personally related, no. No.
Do you know what it was about?
We do, but we're not going to elaborate on that at this point. There's still things that are ongoing in the investigation, and I don't want to allude to a potential motive right now.
We read that there have been maybe surveillance videos as well that helped get to Lopez. Is that something you
The
can share with us?
surveillance is always part of every investigation. Always.
When Mr. Lopez was apprehended, was there anything else on his personnel besides the 2 firearms?
He was in possession of a ballistics bulletproof vest, gloves, and a mask.
Is he a Central Falls resident as well? Or
He, at the moment, is not a Central Falls resident.
do you know what?
Pawtucket.
Is there any reason to believe that this incident and the one in Cumberland are related in any way?
They are not connected.
I'm going to ask you about spellings.
Sure.
How to spell their names.
Sure.
Good morning. Luis Lopez, Luis Lopez,
Is right?
Emmanuel, Emanuel, Torres, Torres, Plaza, Plaza.
So which is first, which is last? Emmanuel Torres Plaza?
Correct. 2 last names.
And Emmanuel just one N?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Does he have any prior charges from anywhere in the past around 2007 incident?
So, yes, Mr. Lopez does have prior charges and was recently released in Massachusetts on a 15-year sentence,
Do you know the sentence?
manslaughter.
Did he serve 15 or do you know?
I believe he did serve 15 years.
Thank you. Okay. And what was the involvement of the Plainville Police?
So the involvement of Plainville Police was that they were able to identify that vehicle as the suspect vehicle from our incident here. And obviously great police work in being able to apprehend him fleeing from that scene.
They apprehended.
That's correct.
And whereabouts was that?
I'm not sure exactly. And again, he's in custody on unrelated charges in Plainville, for the arson of the vehicle or the possession of the firearms.
So there was also a murder in 2007 in Foxborough. His name was related to that, and the victim was from Central Falls.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, that's the incident.
Was there any sort of argument or anything to speak of, anything that may have sparked?
Again, I'm not going to get into the motive in their relationship right now. It is still ongoing, and those details will come out later on.
What was the time frame between? What was the time of the homicide
Probably just about an hour or so, give or take, from the time of the incident here
What
to the
time here?
9:15 is when we received the call for shots fired. So it's about an hour, give or take, from the incident in Plainville.
Thank you.
Okay. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
All right.
Anything to add or? Thank you.
Thank you. If I just could, one of the other points that we might want to put out that I didn't get out there, that this wasn't a random event. Right. This was definitely a targeted event.
I remember
right?
some of the investigators from Saturday said that.
And you know, quite honestly, whenever there's gun violence in the city, you know, obviously there's a concern for public safety. However, this was not a random act.